If anyone can help me with what all components we have in Power BI, can we can note it down so that it's easy to understand.
Power BI desktop, Power
Yes.
View,
Oh,
Power View,
okay.
Power Pivot,
Power Map, Power Pivot,
Power
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 Query,
query.
Resources,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Power
Now,
query. Power pivot.
now we have to always start with this. Then view itself has map. View itself has
okay,
Q&A,
Q&A. View itself has. There's one more component, right?
Power Pivot,
Yeah, Power BI mobile apps.
Right. Now, then Power Query. There is no BI here, right? We are not using any BI word just because these are all component subcomponents. Now, then what all? The last one. So if you want to bifurcate or if you want to understand these services individually, this is for accessing the reports or what you call as a service, right? As a SaaS. SaaS means software as a service, which is nothing but a cloud-based system. So it is a cloud-based Power BI service. Once you create a report, you can publish it. Now, desktop is what this is for visuals, creation, and reporting. Map is one of the visual in Power View. Q&A. What is this? Even this is one of the visual, right? Let me open this as well in the background so that it's easy to understand. Now, in further bifurcation, it uses NLP. What is NLP? Natural language processing. This is for mobile view. This is for ETL or data processing, maybe transformation. And the last one is what? Pivot or unpivot, part of Power Query itself. So where you be able to download this Power BI desktop? Everyone. Any issues there? Let me highlight these points. Windows OS is where Power BI desktop is supported. And Mac, no support. Maybe no direct support. That's how it works. It has to have any VM which has Windows in it. Now, so can you all also go and open this page? What I have opened as of now. Maybe without login, that's fine.
yes, I will.
Go ahead, go ahead. Do you have any questions? So I'll help you what all each component is called inside this view, how it works, what all each component is called as. So once you have opened, this is the Power View. Now inside this, there are some specific names given to each and every component, right? It shouldn't be that if you are using some of the uh, components here, there are certain names to it. So what is that name? Now, if you take a look at the above this bar, the bar above this bar means whatever is above this orange line. Maybe the size is big. Well, this is the minimum size. Change the size first. Now the one which is present above this bar is called as ribbon bar. Now whatever we have inside this ribbon bar, all these options, there are multiple tabs, right? Home, insert, modeling, view, optimize, help, external tools. So you'll be able to find all these options. This is called as ribbon bar. Now, if you take a look at the left window or left pane, there is the small option which is available. Now, this option, there is no specific name, but you can navigate. This is your report view. This is your data view or a table or data view. First one is report view or a visual view. Different names are there. The third one is your data modeling view. And the fourth one is your editor, DAX editor. This is not compulsory. DAX editor is not defaultly available. It is not compulsory. Now, the big question is for few of you, or maybe for few of us, the visualization pane would be available in the ribbon bar. Is there anyone who is having this visualization pane available in the ribbon bar? Can anyone able to see that way? This visualization pane, which is towards right, this should be available in the ribbon bar. Is it that the case for some of you or anyone? Maybe we can solve that issue as well. Anyone? No, right? That's good. Now, whatever you have downloaded, that means you have downloaded the right. Now the question is, ribbon bar is done. The views which I've told, right? Report or a visual view, table or a data view, data modeling view, and query editor for DAX. This is only for DAX, not for any other function. The last option, query editor. Now, towards right, we have few more options. If I again open this, I have to maximize these options. So these three panes are defaultly available. Along with these three panes, if I go to the view tab, there are the other panes also. See, if I go on adding, the number of panes increases, but default, it comes with filter, visualization, and data. Now, for the one who doesn't have this DAX option, that's okay. How to get that? I mean, it is not that important. You can get that. Now, how to get that is if you go to the file option, go to the file option towards the leftmost corner. Once this is open, there is this option called as options and settings. Go to the options. It should open a different pane here. Right now, once it opens a different pane, there are multiple options. Go to this global. See, there are two options now, global and current file. Inside this global, go to the preview features. Inside this preview features, you have to scroll down. Right, this option is unchecked for few of you if you are not able to view or if you are not able to view this DAX option. Right, DAX queries with Copilot. So if this is unchecked, click on check, click on OK. You need to restart your desktop. Only in that case it would be visible. So that's how it works. Right, all good. Now, if I again come back, this is the filter pane, the window which I'm highlighting the white color, this one. This is your filter pane. Now, what do you mean by filter? What do you mean by slicer? We can go through that. But along with this filter pane, there is this visualization, which is the most important part of the Power View. This is where you do all your, see, if I click on any visual, that visual will come here. So you have to drag and drop the data to it. That's how it works. Right. So I'll be able to load some data so that I can show you a small demo on that. Now, along with filter pane, along with visualization pane, there is this last tab called as data. So these three tabs are default. One is filter, one is visualization, and one is data. You should be able to view all three tabs at a time. It is recommended not to close filter pane also, because going further, we would be understanding how filter pane will help you to solve certain problems. There are certain rules and regulations you have to follow. You have to filter some data. In that case, filter pane is the most important part. Any questions here? Maybe any doubts, any questions here? I've explained what all components are there. Now, this is with respect to Power View. I'm only talking with respect to Power View, which is visible once you open the Power BI desktop the very first time. And if you see the below one here, this is the mobile one. Your default, there is this green bar which is available, which will help you to identify in which view we are in. This is the desktop view. This is the mobile view. Right now, if I again go back, now the question is, not always reports are of one page. There are multiple pages also, right? So if you click on add, it will add a new page. If you click on add, it will add a new page. So what it is recommending whenever a new page is added, add data to your report. There is no data as of now. That is the reason it is recommending to add data. Now, if I go to the page one, why is it not visible? Because I have added some random visual, right? If I remove this, the same option, I'll be able to add data to your report. So this is the exact components or the UI of a Power View. 90% of the time we would end up using Power View only, because this is where you create visuals. This is where you write your tax calculations as well. Now, let us load some important data to it. So give me, just check me what kind of data I have.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, Ramon. I'm trying to check. So you might feel that the screen is frozen. That won't be a problem.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Copilot is hidden from you. Is there any reason? I have the licensed version.
So you have logged in
Yeah, I just logged it.
with which email?
Uh, Company office email.
Okay. For might be for that email, the Copilot is not available. That's how it works. For us,
I
it is
have the
available. No. Even if it's a licensed version, as I've said, there are different licenses: P1, P2, P3, P4. Copilot comes with P3 and above license. There are
oh,
limitations. So it might be P1 or P2. That could be the case.
okay, got it.
Okay. Now, how to get a data? The most important part. Power BI has 200 plus data sources connectivity available. Now, if you see, you are in the ribbon bar in the home tab. In the home tab, there is this option called as data. Right? Forget about queries, insert all these options. There is this option called as data. Now, what is this data? This is where from you have to connect your data. Now, these are few options, the options which are frequently used by any developer. But if you go to this get data option here, you will get all the options. Now, is it that the case only these many data sources are available? No. You can click on more. It will open a different window. Now you can check there are around 200 data sources options available. 200, which is a very vast, right? If you are in the alt tab, right, you can filter it. Maybe you want to connect to any Azure services. These many Azure services you want, you have an option to connect. Now, the question is, are these the only 200 options? No. Along with these, there are some certified connectors as well. Certified connectors, now if I click on this, it should open a different component. Now, what is the certified connector is? Let's suppose you want to connect to certain data. That option is not available here, but you will always have a connector option available. Now, not every time each and every data point can be connected, but there are limitations in certified connectors as well. But for now, whatever 200 options are there, that is more than enough, because this is what we would be using on a day-to-day basis. Now the question is, how do I get the data? I mean, I want to get the data from my local system. It's an Excel or a CSV file. So let me go back and check what is an Excel or CSV file. At Excel, comma, separated file, we have this car data. I want to select a CSV file. I'll click on connect. Let me go back. Check where the data is present. Get the data. Now, have an observation here. Whenever you are connecting any specific data, this tab will open. Now, this tab will only display few important records, top 10, top 20 records, or top 25 records. That's how it's visible. Now, the question is, you have few more options, right? File origin means from where you got. What is the delimiter? Delimiter means it's a comma separated file, right? CSV. And we have a data type detection also. Data type detection is what is the data type of these columns? Data type is one of the most important factor we have to consider on for every data set, right? So if your data type is not correct, your data would not be correct in the visuals as well. We have to understand that. We have to make sure that the data type is correct. Now, there are two options. One is load, one is transform, the other one is cancel. Cancel means it's a straightforward option. Now, what is load and what is transform data? See, if I click on load, we are in the power view. We are in the power view. If I click on load, it will be automatically loaded. It will be automatically loaded. That means, let's see how different is it. The provider Microsoft Power BI OLEDB is not registered. See, sometimes you might get these kind of errors. What is this error? There is some connectivity issue. And these are the common errors. Not every time you will get this. Let me see. Is it with respect to file or is it with respect to some other topic? Now, let us try the other option as well. Right, we have directly loaded the data. Let me try the other option as well. What is the other option? Again, I'll go back to the text or CSV file. Get the car data. Open it. Now there is this other option called as transform. Let's see if you're able to get that in the transform or not. You can see two data sets are there here. How come? That means whatever data we have connected, that error was there, there isn't any error. Sometimes you might feel that there is some error while connecting. It is not an error. It is directly connected there. Now, what I have opened, whenever I click on that transform data, it opens the Power Query Editor. What is Power Query Editor? We have already seen that Power Query Editor is nothing but your ETL or data transformation. Now, what is data transformation is, see, you can see two data sets. One is the directly loaded, the other one is connected to the Power Query. Both will be available. Even if you directly load any specific data to the Power View, that data would be available in the Power Query. Power Query will get all the data sets which we are loading to the Power BI. Now, what is the use of Power Query is, see, if you see, there are around, how many columns are there? Once you open the Power Query editor, towards leftmost corner, you can see how many columns or how many rows are there. If the number of rows are greater than 1000, that count will not be available. It will be 1000 plus rows, but it will list you all the columns. How many columns? Now, this is one column, right? Car name, year is one column, selling price is one column, present price is one column. Now, along with this, don't go with the view which I'm getting in the below, right? For you, it would not be available. We'll understand what is that view. Now, whenever you click on that column, towards leftmost corner, you have an option to change the data types. Now we will go through the Power Query components going further, but first we will start with Power View. So I have loaded two data, right? Two data sets. It is one and the same. If I, how is it processed? If I click on get data, whatever data type you want to connect or whatever file you want to connect, you have to click here, open. So you have two options. Load means it will be directly loaded to the Power View. Power Query Editor will not open. And if you click on transform, it will open the Power Query Editor. Now, even if you directly load, that data would be part of Power Query, right? You can see Power Query Editor has both the data sets. Now, I'm least bothered about the second one, right? Only to show you the difference, I've taken these two data sets. I can delete the second one, right? Only one is required. Now, so I'm trying to save something. It is not getting saved. That means there is issue with the file. There is some issue with the file. Let's see what is that issue. Of it also. Now the thing is, maybe there's some file issue only. Let me try to load some other data set. Delete this. Delete this. And close this Power Query editor. Right. Let me click on get data. Let's see if I'm able to get some other data. Maybe I'll try to load this employee superstore. Now, the reason why I have kept this error again and again is the provider Microsoft.Power BI OLEDB. That means there is some issue with the files. It is not with respect to my system. It is with respect to the Power BI tool. These kind of errors are very common. The errors which you are getting, these kind of errors are very common. Now, the only thing which you have to do is you need to restart your system. Right. So I'll not save anything. Let me do that. I'll not save anything. These kind of errors are very common in Power BI, right? These are all the connector issues. I'll again open the Power BI desktop. Let this open. Okay. I'm restarting it. Just a moment. First, this is somewhere with my network. I'm not sure. Okay, let me do one thing. Um, do I have an option to share the data? Let's see, few people are also facing the same issue because these issues are with respect to the updates, the Power BI updates. Just give me a moment. I will share the data sets for you folk also. Mm, mm,
Hello.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's good. Screen.
Is it visible now?
Yes. 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 Thank you.
Sure. Is it with respect to my network? Because I've connected my mobile. That could be the case. Anyways, we'll consider that. Let me open to the Power Query as of now. So non-files, car data. Let me click on transform. See, once I open the Power Query editor, we'll start with Power Query just to make sure that if we are missing something, but I'll always start with the visuals. That's how it should work. Now, anyways, once you click on transform data, it opens the Power Query editor. Now, what is the use of this Power Query editor? Let's first understand the Power Query editor, right? Now, you can click on any column. So towards right of the column, you have these data types. The biggest advantage of using this Power Query editor is, see, once you load the data, once you click on transform the data, what happens is the Power Query editor is smart enough to identify what kind of data is present in that columns. Now, there can be some decimal data. There can be purely numeric data without decimals. There can be string data. String is what? ABC, right? Your character. Now, if you see, there are towards right in the Power Query editor, there is this option called as source, promoted headers, changed type. What are these? These are some automatically applied transformations. You will get this first option as a source. If I come down, see, this is the exact source of the table. If you're connecting any specific CSV file, how does that CSV file look like? Now, if I open this card data again, let me try to open this card data again. In the local system, I'm trying to open. So how Power BI identifies? See, if I open this card data has how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. Okay, that's fine. Now, how many number of records are there? 300 and you need to check the count, right? 302 records. And if I go to the Power Query, here in the Power Query, there are 302. That's correct. But if I come down to the last step, there are only 301. Why? Because if I go above, here you have the very first row as a column header. Car name, year, selling price, present price, kilometers driven. These are the headers. So the Power Query editor is smart enough. From the first step, this is how it should look like. This is how it is looking right in the first step. It has automatically promoted the first row as header. This is the transformation step. And once it has promoted the first row as header, you see the data types for all the columns is ABC, ABC, ABC. Ideally for selling price and present price, it's a numeric data, right? It should be numeric information. Kilometers driven is a numeric data. This is decimal. Inside numeric also there are sub entities, right? Sub data types, numeric. We have decimal, we have float. There are multiple data types. So it has again smart enoughly identified. It has changed the data types depending on what kind of data is present in that columns. So that's how powerful the Power Query editor is. It will automatically apply few default transformations, which can be, it is not required to go back and manually apply them. So that's how the Power Query editor will help us to identify if there are any transformations, filtering of data, cleaning of data is required. So if I again go back, this is our Power Query editor where our transformations or data processing is done. So I'm just covering the components just to get a basic idea. Now, what is Power Pivot, right? Now, I might assume that you already know what is pivot and unpivot. In simple terms, if I wanted to explain in detail what is pivot and unpivot. So we have some information like A, B, C, D. So this is one single column, right? This information is a one single column. Now you want to convert this information in a row. Now row means these are ideally rows only. This is row 1, this is row 2, this is row 3, this is row 4. But you want to convert this information in separate columns rather than one single row. You want to convert it in separate columns. Now, how is it possible? Separate columns means like you want to convert this into A, B, C, D. So this is one column, this is one column, this is one column. I want to convert it to this manner. So converting individual rows which are present in one single column to separate columns is called as pivot. We have this option in Excel as well, Microsoft Excel. So you can convert this into separate columns. That is what is called as pivot. In real time, you might expose or you might come across that you want to convert your data, you want to expose your data from individual rows in one single column to separate columns. So that is how the pivot will come into picture. Now, where is that pivot present? We have already discussed, right? Power Pivot and unpivot both are part of Power Query. Now, if I again go back to the Power Query here, you see our data is, let's only focus on one column. Now, what I'll do, I'll get the car names, right? Or maybe I'll take year. I'll click on year. So what I've done, Do not focus on that. We will be learning only pivot, understanding pivot. We are in the home tab of the Power Query Editor, and we have only one column. And if you take a look, how many values are there? There are multiple years. Now, rather than having one single column where all rows are present, I want to take separate columns. 2013 should be column, 2014 should be column. So if you go to the transform tab in the Power Query Editor, we will discuss all this again, but just to give you an idea, we have this option called as unpivot. Now, if I click on this, see what am I trying to do is, let me again go back. So in the transform tab, you have an option called as pivot and unpivot. Now, only these two components have significance of Power Pivot. The other components are all related to Power Query, transformation of data. So whenever I click on pivot columns, see it is asking me by which column you want to pivot. You can see for 2014, it has created a separate column. For 13, it has created a separate column. For 17, it has created a separate column. For 11, it has created a separate column. That's how the individual row values in one single column are converted to different columns. This is called as pivot, and vice versa. Now, if I click on this and if I click on unpivot columns, vice versa is called as unpivot. Now, I might have only selected one, but what you have to do is unpivot other columns. See, the information is again unpivoted. So these components are called as Power Query Editor and Power Pivot. These two components are part and parcel of Power Query Editor only. So you need to understand what is the Power Pivot, what is the Power Query Editor. Now we will discuss all these components in detail going further, but just as we are covering all the important components, we have seen both the other components which are part and parcel of Power Query Editor. Any questions on this Power Query Editor?
So the pivot will change based upon only one column, or we can choose
No,
multiple columns?
It has to be, see, whenever you are pivoting the information, you have to select one column and you have to select the dependent column on which you want to create a pivot.
Okay. So generally, in which scenario we use the pivot?
Maybe, see, as I've said, if you want your information from this way, there are instances where you will come across that you want to convert this information into this map. In that case only, we usually use it. But see, the thing is, without any value, there should be some value, right?
Yes.
So without value, it is not possible. So with that value only, you have to get this information. So what that value is, these are some other columns, this column, this column, this column. So these are some other columns.
Okay.
So you have to have two columns to pivot, or you have to have two columns to unpivot as well. We'll discuss more in
So the
that.
first column. Okay, sure.
Yep. Any questions on this components, the two components which we have seen, and we have also seen Power. We will go through the other components as well. Power BI mobile apps is very straightforward. It's very straightforward. The only thing is you have to go to the Power View, and here you have to change it to the mobile layout. That's it. This is the mobile layout. So how many components we have covered? Power View, Power Mobile, Power BI mobile apps, Power Query, Power Pivot. That's it. Now, these two components are part and parcel of Power View. If I again go to the Power View, see, and one thing, keep it in mind, whenever you are working in Power BI, you should always open both the components, which is Power Query also. If at all you are not at all touching the data, that means you don't want any transformations further, you can use this Power Query Editor. But it is always recommended whenever you are developing, you have to open both the components, Power View also and Power Query Editor as well. Because it will help you to identify where are we going wrong, or if we want to transform the data, we can immediately transform it. Now you can still open the Power Query editor from the home tab, click on transform data, it would open that same window. But why to again open and why to again close every time? So it is recommended for a developer to have both the windows open. Yep. Any questions on this? Right? If there are no questions, towards left, we have seen the options, right? You will be always in the report view. Now, what is report view? So if I come down to the table view, that visualization tab is gone. So whatever table you are viewing in the Power Query, the same table should be visible here in the Power View table option, table view or data. But this is a different thing. Here you cannot do any transformation. Transformation means you cannot do any data cleaning. Whereas in Power Query Editor, you can do the data cleaning. That is the difference. So do not get confused. In Power Query also, it would be in a table view, but Power Query is for transformation, cleaning, processing your data. Right now, I want you people to recall your schooling formulas, because that is most important thing. If you recall your schooling formulas, you will be easily able to understand what that chart is able to signify. There are multiple charts, right? So I'll not be starting with charts directly today. Maybe from tomorrow, I'll directly start with the charts, but I want you people to recall. So how do we recall? I'll give you some hints. Now, what are that hints are? Okay, now anyways, we covered Power View, Power BI mobile apps. If you see, if I go to the visualization tab, you have two. One is Power Q&A, this is also visual, and you have Power Map. These are the Power Maps. So Power Map and Power Q&A are straightforward requests. They are nothing different. So there is no as such definition or any explanation required for it. Now the question is, let me discard the changes. There are few charts. Only first focus on the first line, first row. Now, I want answers from you folks. How many of you know what do you mean by graph? What do you mean by graph? How many of you know? Right, somewhere the graph is like this, two-dimensional graph, two-dimensional, 2D graph, not 3D. I'm talking about 2D. Now, can you help me? What is x-axis and what is y-axis? Which one is x-axis and which one is y-axis?
X-axis is horizontal and y-axis is
Horizontal means it is left to right. Like this line is horizontal. Vertical means this line. So this is top to bottom. Now, there are different ways, right? If you are considering, now understand, right? If you are considering a column chart, column means this is how columns are there. This is one column. This is one column. You can call it as a histogram, right? You people might have learned it in the school, histogram. These columns, charts or histograms, you can call it as a column chart in Power BI. For these charts, this is the x-axis. And this is your y-axis. You need to recall all this. Your 11th, 12th, or maybe you have learned it in 9th and 10th also. This is called as column chart. There are multiple column charts. Different options are there. We'll go through that as well. But this basic chart is called as a column chart. Now, same chart is also available in a different manner. What that different manner is, this is column, right? These are columns. Now, if that column is in this manner, this, not from top to bottom, but from left to right, in that case, these charts are called as bar charts, right? Bar is always flow from left to right. Column will always flow from top to bottom. So in case of bar chart, this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. How come? Because x-axis will always have some data. Like, let's suppose this is A, this is B, This is C bar. Here, how can you take ABC here? You cannot take, right? ABC should be here because bar is flowing from left to right and column is flowing from top to bottom. So that's how x-axis and y-axis changes in the Power BI visualization. So there are multiple charts. If you again go back to the Power View, if you go on that, this is the bar chart, this is the column chart, but there are sub charts also: clustered bar chart, clustered column chart, 100% stack bar chart, 100% stack column chart. So there are multiple bars. The first thing is you need to identify what is x-axis, what is y-axis, how column chart works. That means how vertical line works, how horizontal line works. If you understand these two components, bar chart and column chart are one of the most widely used visuals in any Power BI report. You take any Power BI report, in all the reports, column charts or bar charts are present in it. Without bar chart or column chart, there is none single Power BI report. It has to have a bar chart or column chart present in it. Any questions on this? Any questions on column chart and bar chart? Any questions on X and Y axis? Okay.
No.
Okay, cool. Now, assuming that you might have seen all the components of Power BI Desktop, you might have understood what is Power Query, what is Power View, how the UI is, right, in Power BI. And going further, I'll never say that in the above bar, I'll say ribbon bar. I'll never say in the visualization, I'll say the visualization pane. This is pane, filter pane, visualization pane, data pane. So I'll be taking these words, technical words. So you should never have a question that what is ribbon bar, what is visualization pane, what is data pane, what is filters pane. So that was our primary agenda for today, that to understand the UI of Power View, how and what all components are present in Power BI Desktop, and some basic understanding about data types, cleaning of data. I'm not talking about, see, in Power Query is so powerful that you can do multiple things in Power Query. I mean, multiple options are present here. There are multiple options. So we'll go through all these options one after the other. But for today, what I was supposed to cover is understanding of UI, components of Power BI Desktop. Along with that, I have explained you what is column chart and what is bar chart. Understand it. Vertical line, horizontal line, how column flows, how bar flows, and how the axis changes. So if you understand this, tomorrow I'll be starting with the column and bar chart. Within few seconds only, you will be able to understand what kind of data can be taken in x-axis and what kind of data can be taken in y-axis. That's how different the components are. Okay, now all good for today. If you have any questions, any random questions, please feel free to ask.
Joined only today. Today is my first class. I'm new to this
Okay.
batch.
Okay.
And may I know what is the duration of this course?
Okay, good. Now I'll list down all these components. The duration of this course is ideally 4 months, but we have already started with SQL. SQL is done. Power BI is there. Now, that doesn't mean that you will not be able to learn SQL. Yes, one who are joining with Power BI, they will also be given SQL recordings. If you're not satisfied with that, there are some simultaneous batches which are going. You will also be given access to that batches. Even if you're not satisfied with that, you will be added to the SQL once I complete Power BI and Azure. A new batch will be starting
You're
and you will
going
be
to
added.
cover in Azure, sir.
Okay, now the best thing is I'll be able to explain all these, but the thing is, if you go in Azure specifically, I'll be covering ADF because this is very, very important with respect to Power BI. Along with ADF, there's this SQL server, there is this keywords, there is this ADLS, and there is this service principle. These are the most important parts you have to understand from a Power BI point of view. So I'll be covering all these components. And at last, we will be covering basics of database. We will be covering basics of Synapse and basics of logic apps. These are all basics because these components are not compulsion for a Power BI. These are for data engineers. Now, if you want more insights, I would always recommend you to log into the KSR website. There you will get the pamphlet also. Let me log in that way. So if you click on sign in, it would open. Click on sign in. You need to create an account if you don't have an account. What happened? Yeah, once you sign in, go to the explore courses. As you might have seen, Mahesh has explained it, but if I'm re-explaining it again, go to free sessions or upcoming sections. You will have this option, first option, click here. See, this is not buy now, this is access now. That's it. Once first 5 sessions are done, it would be buy. The very first option, which is lessons option, here you can download the curriculum, the complete curriculum. And if you want to access the records, you can come down and access the records here.
Yep, sure, sir. I know what are the concepts have you covered in the sequel?
Okay, that's what I've said. If you download this, you will get everything which is mentioned here. I've covered all this, including SQL also. The course curriculum contains SQL as well. If I go above, scroll down, see, all the components are mentioned. So what I've covered in SQL is also mentioned. Is it clear?
But
Uh,
where is the SQL's recording?
Once you enroll, only then you will be able to access it. You can get free recordings from here, the YouTube ones. You want some components related to SQL, you can get the free SQL
But
recordings here.
once we enroll, the recording will be visible.
Yeah, all the recordings will be visible.
Okay.
Hi Ritesh. So I completed the SQL with this batch now into the Power BI. So when we will get the licenses from the KSR?
After 10 days, maybe next week.
Okay.
You will be able to get. See, I would not recommend you to directly log in and get the license. You will be getting that email. I'll be helping with that. I mean, how to activate, how that process works. I'll be helping with that.
Okay, and the duration of this license in India is for how many days it is valid?
Okay, 8 to 9:30.
No, for 2 months, 3 months.
Monday to Friday. Okay. See, as I've said, 4 months total. In 4 months, 1 month SQL, Power BI is 2 months,
Hello, Ritesh.
and Azure is 1 month. That's how it is bifurcated.
Am I audible?
So 5 days a week, somewhere around 40 sessions will be covered in Power BI.
So it's a 4 months or 4.5 months?
4, not 4.5.
Oh,
5.
like I was
See,
told it was
usually,
4.5.
okay, see, usually we take a buffer of 2 weeks. Buffer in the sense if there is some delay, maybe some holidays are coming in between, 1 or 2 days, there would be delay. That's how it works.
Yeah, so actually I'm starting from zero. Like I have zero knowledge about BI or SQL or even data analytics. So my major was finance and it was a different sector. So can I learn like most of the things in
Yes.
this 4 months and the basics of it? Because like whatever was taught today, like it was a bit difficult coping up because it was a very new subject to me, right? So I've never seen this Power BI or something like that.
So
And I
you
hope,
joined today, probably you would have attended yesterday's
yeah.
session, then it would have been a continuity. That's
Oh,
how it
okay. All
works.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Do I have to like learn more from YouTube itself as well, apart from this, so that I can learn more? Because
See,
like,
what
you know, I'm starting
I
from zero and basics, or is it possible through this course, or like I have to do something extra as well?
It is possible from this itself. You need not go
Okay.
through YouTube or research something.
Okay, for sure. Thank you.
Sir, is there any our KSR app is available?
The mobile app you are trying to say, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's available. You can download it from Play Store.
Okay, and can I see the all recordings there also?
Yes, you will be able to. The same access. How do you have logged in the desktop website? Same you have to follow in the mobile.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Videsh. This is Ganesh, and this is my first class.
Okay.
I do not have login credentials. Do I need to work with
No,
you,
you
or
have no. You have to create from your own email. There is this option, right? If I go to the sign in option, once you click
okay?
on sign in,
Mm-hmm.
here, once you click on sign in, it will ask you here, create an account, create your account with your personal email.
Okay.
That's how it works. Login credentials are not shared. You can create. See, even though I have my own email ID from KSR, but that doesn't mean it would be common for everyone. You can create your own from your Gmail or your Yahoo, which your personal mail you have.
Okay, I understand. Okay, and I did my master's in business
Any other
analytics.
questions?
I did my master's in business analytics. Videsh, so will this help me uh, finding the new assignments going forward? I mean, in the business analytics or data analytics.
Um,
See, you are the day one, and if you are expecting everything to be available in day one, that's very different. So I'll be sharing. Do not be in a hurry.
Mhm.
So see, the thing is, do not be in a hurry. I'll be sharing all these components. If you're in day one and you're expecting everything to be available, it's very difficult. I'll be sharing.
Okay, I
so
got it.
Ganesh, are you from USA or are you from India? Like, who is studying bachelor's, I mean, business analytics?
Yeah, I'm from United States. I mean, I live in Rockville,
Oh,
Maryland.
oh, all right. Where did you like study business analytics?
I studied in a Trine University. It's in Reston, Virginia. It's a hybrid
Okay.
course.
Okay, same here. I studied at Trine University as well.
So you studied at Trine University.
Yeah, I'm going to
That's a
graduate soon
coincidence.
on May 3rd.
I am also graduating on May 3rd. Which
Oh, wow, nice.
campus are you doing your master's? I mean,
Like
are you
actually,
from
I'm
Reston?
from
Are you doing
Detroit,
it?
Michigan. Yeah.
That's it.
Guys, can you discuss offline? Can you discuss
Yes, of
offline?
course.
Once you are enrolled, you can discuss it offline. Yeah.
Sir, there
So,
is some error while loading the data.
Mhm.
What is the solution of that
I'll,
query?
I'll, I'll show that. In tomorrow's session, I'll show that. See, if I show it today, it would be very confusing. That's the reason I've kept it aside.
Okay, no issues.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, this is Selva. Like, I do have a doubt. Like, will you teach us MS Fabric and Advanced Excel too? Like,
Fabric is part of it, not an Excel. Excel, you'll be getting recordings.
okay, sure, thanks.
sir, you told that you
So are you
shared your
covering entire
contact
fabrics,
number.
right?
Yes,
Sorry.
yes. Entire means from the data analyst, not the data engineering or data scientist.
Coming to fabrics.
See, that is what I've said. In Fabric, we have AI, we have ML. Do you think these two are useful for us? AI ML is your Python. That is not useful, right? So I'll be skipping that part. Again, if you want to know what I would be covering in the Fabric, the same thing is you can go to this. Overview is there. You can download this curriculum. You'll be able to get it easily.
Okay.
Now, along with the normal chat, there is this Play Store link also shared to you. You can download the app from there. So one of our team members has shared the link. So you can download the Play Store app, or even iOS App Store also has this app. Hey, yeah, check it. What?
Yeah, actually, we have said starting that visual plane is visible in, for me in ribbon bar also. How to remove it?
Again, Shakil, that is what I've said. If you are expecting everything from day one, that means you it's very difficult.
At starting, once can I share my screen?
No, Shakil, please try to understand what am I trying to say. You are asking me a question on ribbon bar, right?
Yeah.
So that is what I've said. I haven't touched the ribbon bar. I'm yet to start the column and bar. You're expecting ribbon directly. Don't worry. I'll be going through that. In
I'm
future, if you
asking
have any
that.
questions,
I'm asking that in ribbon, it is showing for me visual pane in left, in
uh,
right side and top also.
so I've asked that first question only. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. I'll there is this option to change that view. I'll help you how to change that view also. Right. If I open this, you are able to see the visualization somewhere here, right in the above.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we can change it. We can change it. Don't worry. Any other questions? Okay. If there are no questions, we are almost good for today.
You
Yeah,
discussed
Shakil, you
about
have
M code also. No? M
Yeah,
language.
yes. Not the language, but I'll discuss how mQuery will help you to identify any problems. mQuery is part and parcel of Power Query. So how it works, I'll be able to help you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, still there are two more sessions. Need not worry. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Um, Maybe after Friday session, we will have a cap in the sense I'll complete the Friday session by 9 only, the way we are completing now. Usually we complete all first five sessions very early to make sure if you have any doubts to get that doubts cleared so that you will be confident enough that whether to enroll for this or you have any doubts, you can ask on Friday as well on the last session also. So I'll be able to clarify all that doubts. Right. Assuming that there are no questions, good for today. Have a very great day going ahead. Let's connect back tomorrow. Yep. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
You can go to the Google. Yeah. Just type as a ksrdatavision.com or ksr datavision. You can search in Google.